The Student Reading Committee is pleased to present the 2014 Summer Reading List. The following production consists of over 60 book descriptions for your consideration. 37 students worked on the Student Reading Committee this year. Along with teachers, administrators, parents, and the Ocean County Library, the students read, reviewed, and recommended the following book titles for your reading enjoyment this summer. Before selecting your book or books, be sure to view the accompanying PowerPoint presentation and brochure on the Lacey Township High School homepage. Carefully read each book description for grade appropriateness. When finished reading your book or books, go to the Lacey Township High School homepage and look for the link to the Reading Response Form. Complete and submit the form to get credit from your 2014-2015 Language Arts teacher. Honors and AP students may have different reading requirements. Please refer to the high school homepage for details.
45 Pounds, More or Less by Kelly Barson. Anne is 16 and a size 17 when she decides she needs to lose 45 pounds in order to be in her aunt's wedding. Realistic fiction, recommended for grades 9 and 10.
Allegiant by Veronica Roth. The explosive conclusion to the Divergent trilogy. Science fiction, all grades.
And Then There Were None by Agatha Christie. 10 strangers meet on an island, and all is well until the murders start. Classic novel, mystery, all grades.
Anything That Moves by Dana Goodyear. Looks at the different cuisine emerging in the United States, leading some to ask, is that food? Nonfiction, food and drink, all grades.
The Archived by Victoria Schwab. Imagine a place where the dead rest on shelves like books. Fantasy fiction, grades 9 to 11.
Aristotle and Dante Discover the Secrets of the Universe by Benjamin Sens. Aristotle and Dante, both loners with nothing in common, discover that they share a special friendship. GLBT, Coming of Age Stories, Profanity, Drug and Alcohol References, grades 11 and 12.
Being Henry David by Cal Armistead. 17-year-old Hank lost his memory. As he attempts to discover his present, he realizes that he must first face up to the realities of his grievous memories. Realistic fiction, all grades.
The Boy in the Wooden Box by Leon Layson. Leon Layson, only 10 years old when the Nazis invaded Poland and his family was forced to relocate to the Krakow ghetto, was ultimately saved by the generosity and cunning of one man named Oskar Schindler. A memoir intended for all grades.
Butter by Aaron J. Lange. An overweight teenager pledges to eat himself to death live on the internet. Contains profanity, all grades, realistic fiction.
The Chaos of Stars by Kirsten White. An enchanting novel set in Egypt and San Diego that captures the magic of first love and the eternally complicated truth about family. Fantasy, fiction, mythological fiction, for grades 9 through 10.
Chump by Carl Hyacin. When Wahoo Cray's dad, an animal wrangler, takes a job with a reality TV show called Expedition Survival, Wahoo figures he'll have to do a bit of wrangling himself to keep his dad from killing Derek Badger, the show's inept and egotistical star. Adventure, humor, grades 9 through 10.
Cinder by Marissa Meyer. Humans and androids crowd the raucous streets of New Beijing. A deadly plague ravages the population. From space, a ruthless lunar people watch, waiting to make their move. No one knows that Earth's fate hinges on one girl. Science fiction, grades 9 and 10.
Cod by Mark Kurlansky. This is the entertaining biography of a single species of fish, the cod, and its important place in the world history. History, nonfiction, all grades.
CODA by Emma Trevane. By encoding music with addictive and mind-altering elements, the Corps holds control over all citizens. Revolution all but sings in the air. An anthem cannot help but answer the call. Cyberpunk fiction, science fiction, grade 9.
The Coldest Girl in Cold Town by Holly Black. Tana lives in a world where walled cities called cold towns exist, in which quarantined monsters and humans mingle in a decadently bloody mix of predator and prey. Horror, grades 11 and 12.
Confessions of a Murder Suspect by James Patterson. On the night Malcolm and Maud Angel are murdered, their daughter Tandy knows just 3 things. She was one of the last people to see her parents alive. The suspect list only includes Tandy and her 3 siblings, and she can't trust anyone, maybe not even herself. Murder Mystery grades 9 and 10.
Crossing Over by Ruben Martinez. This book puts a human face on the U.S.-Mexican border crossing dilemma, following the exodus of the Chavez clan, an extended Mexican family who lost 3 sons in a tragic border accident. A non-fiction biography, best intended for grades 12.
The Dark Unwinding by Sharon Cameron. A spine-tingling tale of steampunk and spies, intrigue, and heart-racing romance. Historical fiction, for grades 9 through 10.
Eleanor and Park by Rainbow Rowell. This is a story of 2 star-crossed misfits, smart enough to know that first love almost never lasts, but brave and desperate enough to try. Profanity, romance, mature readers, grades 11 and 12.
Escape from Camp 14 by Blaine Harden. This is the true story of the only known person born inside a North Korean prison camp to have escaped. It is a tale of endurance and courage, survival and hope. Nonfiction, biography, all grades.
Ethan Frome by Edith Warden. This book describes the plight of a decent man trapped in a loveless marriage who finds himself drawn hopelessly in love with another woman. Classic novel, grade 11.
Fangirl by Rainbow Rowell. It is Cather Avery's first year of college. She must learn to be just Kath, not the twins Kath and Ren, and not Magicath, her fanfiction pen name. Coming-of-age stories. Realistic fiction. Profanity and mature themes, grades 10 through 12.
Far, Far Away by Tom McNeill. The ghost of Jacob Grimm, one of the half-brothers Grimm, watches over Jeremy, protecting him from an unknown dark evil whispered about in the space between this world and the next. Fantasy, horror, grades 9 through 11.
Far from the Madding Crowd by Thomas Hardy. This story of the ill-fated passions of the beautiful Bathsheba and her 3 suitors offers a spectacle of country life brimming with energy and charm. Classic novel, grade 12.
The Fifth Wave by Rick Yancey. After the first wave, only darkness remains. After the second, only the lucky escape. After the third, only the unlucky survive. After the fourth wave, only one rule applies: trust no one. Now, it's the dawn of the fifth wave. Science fiction for grades 10 through 12.
First Comes Love by Katie Kavinsky. Gray and Dylan seem like an unlikely couple, but looks can be deceiving, and besides, opposites attract. Love stories, multiple perspectives, realistic fictions, grades 9 and 10.
Forgive Me, Leonard Peacock by Matthew Quick. Today is Leonard Peacock's birthday, the day he intends to kill his former best friend, and then himself, with his grandfather's P-38 pistol. Profanity, realistic fiction, grade 12 only.
The Graceling series by Kristen Kishore. Katza is a smart, beautiful teenager who lives in a world where selected people are given a grace, a special talent that can be anything from dancing to swimming. Katza's is killing. Fantasy fiction, all grades.
Hiroshima by John Hersey. On August 6, 1945, Hiroshima was destroyed by the first atom bomb ever dropped on a city. This book tells what happened on that day, told through the memories of the survivors. A classic history nonfiction story, best intended for grades 10.
The Historian by Elizabeth Kostakova. A young woman finds an ancient book and a cache of yellowing letters, which plunge her into a world she never dreamed of, a labyrinth where the secrets of her father's past and her mother's mysterious fate connect to an inconceivable evil hidden in the depths of history. Adult books for young adults, horror, grades 11 and 12.
The Hunchback of Notre Dame by Victor Hugo. Set in medieval Paris, this classic tells the story of the beautiful gypsy Esmeralda and Quasimodo, the deformed bell ringer of Notre Dame Cathedral, who tries to save her by hiding in the cathedral's tower. Classic novel, grades 11 and 12.
I Am Malala by Malala Yousafzai. This is the true story of Malala Yousafzai, who was shot in the head by the Taliban because she spoke up and fought for her right to an education. Memoir, nonfiction, education, for all grades.
I Hunt Killers by Barry Lyga. Jazz, the son of the world's most infamous serial killer, joins the police in a hunt for a new serial killer. Suspense, grades 10 through 12.
In Defense of Food by Michael Pollan. Pollan proposes that what we should eat comes down to 7 simple but liberating words. Eat food, not too much, mostly plants. Science, diet and nutrition, all grades.
Inherit the Wind by Robert E. Lee opens with Bert Cates having been arrested for teaching evolution to his sophomore class in the small town of Hillsborough. Classic drama, play, all grades.
Insignia by S.J. Kincaid. A science fiction book about Tom Raines, a teenager who wants to be important, though his shadowy life is anything but that. A suspense cyber thriller in the science fiction section intended for all grades.
Into the Fire by Dakota Meyer, a first-hand account of the most extraordinary battle in the Afghan War. Profanity, disturbing acts of war, memoir, history, grades 11 and 12.
The Living by Matt De La Pena. Shy, a 16-year-old working on a luxury cruise ship, finds himself at the epicenter of a series of mysterious global disasters including earthquakes and tsunamis. Profanity, suspense, grades 10 to 12.
Monument 14 by Emmy Laybourne. 14 children trapped in a supermarket learn to survive as the world they know is destroyed. Apocalyptic fiction, science fiction, all grades.
The Moon and More by Sarah Dessen. Emmeline learns to live her life while balancing what she wants with what she has. Coming-of-age stories, grades 11 and 12.
More Than This by Patrick Ness. Seth learns to cope as the world around him crumbles. Profanity, science fiction, grades 10 through 12.
My Sister Lives on the Mantelpiece by Annabelle Pitcher. A family struggles to go on after the loss of a child. Realistic fiction, grade 9.
The Naturals by Jennifer Barnes. Cass uses her gift to help the FBI catch killers and almost gets killed in the process. Mystery, suspense, reluctant readers in all grades.
OCD, The Dude and Me by Lauren Vaughn. Danielle is a social outcast struggling to fit in until she meets Daniel. A realistic fiction novel best intended for grades 9 through 10.
One Shot at Forever by Chris Ballard. A baseball team makes a magical run in an unlikely circumstance. Nonfiction, sports, biography, for all grades.
Orange is the New Black by Piper Kerman. A woman in her 30s spends 15 months in prison. Profanity, memoir, grade 12 only.
Proof of Heaven by Eben Alexander. A neurosurgeon experiences a near-death situation and sees a glimpse of heaven. Nonfiction, memoir, science, all grades.
The Reason I Jump by Naoki Higashida. 13-year-old Naoki explained how he sees the world around him, answering questions about his autism. A nonfiction autobiography in the psychology section, best intended for all grades.
Red Heart Tattoo by Lauren Lean McDaniel. 7:45 the day before Thanksgiving break, a bomb explodes at Edison High School, killing 9 and critically injuring 15. Realistic fiction, reluctant readers, grades 10 through 12.
Second Impact by David Class. This book opens a line of discussion on head injuries in sports. The story centers around a New Jersey high school football team trying to win another state championship. Sports, grades 9 and 10.
The Silence of Murder by Dandy McCall. The story of a teen's struggle to prove her brother innocent of murder. Mystery, grades 9 through 11.
6 Months Later by Natalie Richards. Chloe falls asleep and wakes up to her dream life, but she doesn't know how. Profanity, suspense, thriller, all grades.
Something Like Normal by Trish Dollar. Travis returns from war to find his life in shambles until he meets Harper. Profanity, realistic fiction, reluctant readers, grade 9.
10 by Gretchen McNeil. A group of teenagers is haunted on an island getaway. Horror, profanity, reluctant readers, for grades 9 through 11.
Thin Space by Jody Casella. Marshall is consumed with guilt after losing his brother in an accident. Some profanity, suspense, all grades.
This Is Not a Drill by Beck McDowell. Teenagers try to save elementary students from an armed madman. Some profanity, suspense, adventure, survival, all grades.
This Is What Happy Looks Like by Jennifer Smith. A teen movie star finds himself in an unlikely relationship. Romance, grade 9 and 10.
Turn Right at Machu Picchu by Mark Adams. A comedy highlighting a journey through Machu Picchu. Travel, nonfiction, history, adventure, for grades 11 through 12.
Unspoken by Sarah Brennan. Cami Glass loves someone she has never met. A boy she has talked to in her head ever since she was born. A gothic fiction novel best intended for grades 9 through 11.
Warriors Don't Cry by Melba Batillo Beals revolves around the decision by the Supreme Court in 1954 to integrate schools. Some profanity, history, memoir, grades 10 through 12.
When Saturday Mattered Most by Mark Beach, the stirring story of the 1958 undefeated Army football team and the controversial coach Earl Red Blake who inspired Vince Lombardi. Nonfiction, sports, history, all grades.